All right. Are you ready to start this thing?
Yep.
You ready?
Introduce our guests. Plural.
Plural.
We're hoping for one, we got two.
So, this Dallas and Eric at the Whiteboard, episode...
782, I think.
I know.
That's not true.
We've been doing this forever.
Can't back that up.
We've been doing this so many times. I think I started this with as much facial hair as you.
Probably, and I've been growing it out the same amount of time.
I shave once a week.
So today, we have our first guest. It's plural.
Guests.
We
She's
have...
on.
You're on whether you want to be on or not.
What did I sign up for?
Everything. We have our guest, Tyler.
Hello.
What's your last name, Tyler?
Lyerly.
That's not right. That's a made-up name.
Best tongue twister ever.
Lyerly?
11 letters long, but repeats just 5. Yeah, so
There you
Tyler
go.
Lyerly.
Oh, so it's great for the English dictionary.
What's amazing.
Yeah.
Kids in the preschool, it was their test
fair.
to graduate to be able to say my name.
Fair
True
enough.
story. Yeah.
And you brought today...
My girlfriend Victoria.
Really? That's weird, because I thought that was my girlfriend,
support
Victoria.
system. Yeah.
Victoria is Georgiana's middle name.
Is it?
Georgiana Victoria Walton, also my wife's middle name.
That's my wife's middle name.
No way. I
Man.
remember that.
That's my wife's middle name too. No, you don't.
What is your middle name, Victoria?
My what?
Middle name.
Miliani. It's Hawaiian for gentle caress, I think.
That's cool.
You seem so confident as you said that.
Yeah, right.
I've had people tell me different meanings for the middle name. I just kind of go with whatever
You
one I
find the one that sounds good. You're
yeah,
like,
I'm
it's
that
that
one
one.
sounds
It's
best.
that
I like
one.
that one.
So, we brought Tyler on today for a couple different reasons. Tyler, you've got an interesting story. Just like anyone, but yours is better. Because you have Jesus hair.
Why, thank you.
You and Dallas are having a competition for who's got the better hair.
Well, this is long. We're on two different planes still.
You got
I could put mine into that.
you've got like fashion model hair.
There it is.
Well,
Tyler's got California hair.
I haven't cut my hair in 6 months.
Me either, because I don't have any.
Does you good though? It's good.
It's hiding my chrome. But no, you started fitness a little bit later in life, and then you got into the competitive bodybuilding scene, also at a later stage. But you compete in the open class with a lot of big juice heads, and you're a natural athlete.
Absolutely.
A lot of, and there's a lot of temptations there. And I know we've talked over the last couple of years, and you're not willing to go down that road. But you're not only competing, you're staying competitive with these guys.
Sure, guys, come on. Sure.
Okay. So that's kind of an interesting thing. You stood on stage, and shameless plug, I helped.
Yeah.
And then you just got bit by the bug. You loved it. You took a ton of selfies because you had abs. You looked
That's
great.
what you do whenever you're in that prime of condition.
Yeah. And then you did it again, and I helped a little bit with that one. And the conditioning, the amount of muscle that you put on in such a relatively short time. I mean, what did you end up? You put on 7 pounds of stage weight?
Yeah. So I technically weighed in at the same weight. However, the second time around, I had a drastic water cut compared to the first time where I was trying to drink water to kind of rehydrate because we had pulled out too much, I should say. So, about 7 pounds in that year span, and that's including having a pretty major injury that I had to spend about 3 months without lifting much other than using straps for deadlifts, pretty much.
Yeah.
I could barely even squat just putting my hands on the bar. So, yeah, it's
really
a pretty substantial amount of change there.
Yeah, and the pictures, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you look like a totally different person, and then veins just from your nose to your toes. It was a little bit gross. But no, you look great. But bring us back to the beginning. How did you get involved in just, the working out aspect of it, period? And then how did we get into the competitive side of things?
All the way back to childhood, or how far back are we going here?
Whenever it started.
Okay. So, ever since I was young, my family's been big into sports and fitness. However, not necessarily involved into putting on a lot of muscle mass, but just being very healthy. we were gymnasts, we were soccer players, baseball players, we wrestled in high school, basically anything other than football we did. And so all through my teenage years, I stayed relatively healthy, but I had a ruptured appendix when I was 17, just turned 17, and even being skinny and in shape, dropped a substantial amount of weight. And when I came out of the surgery and recovered some, a friend of mine, took a look and said, "Man, you've got the right muscle attachments to be a bodybuilder. Like, you should get into this." And so for a year, I did nothing but try and put on weight.
Well, now back up that a little bit, because we talked about this earlier off air. When you got out of the hospital after you had your surgery, what did you weigh?
About 123 pounds. Somewhere in that
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
So a little bit on the petite side.
Yeah. I was barely bigger than most of the girls in my high school. Yeah. But
And then you started eating, started training.
an insane amount, and I did a very dirty bulk. Like the nutrition side wasn't quite there.
The nutrition side was tasty.
Well, how old were you?
Yeah, I was 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 17. We all dirty bulk and trying to gain weight.
It's a matter of eating
It's dairy,
anything and everything. Yeah. The supplements I did take was like creatine, and then I took liver pills too for amino
Yes.
acids. And
From the Unilever?
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many people have heard of those?
I became kind of hooked on all the animal crew bodybuilders.
Yeah.
And so I started taking Animal Pack for a little bit, but at 17 you can't really afford that. Maybe between food and protein you're pretty much like tapped out there. But yeah, for a solid year, it was bring peanut butter sandwiches to school, eat school lunch, buy another school lunch, eat 12 eggs for breakfast. You just put on 10,000 calorie days over and over and over. Eat to where you feel sick, and then eat again in an hour and a half.
Yep.
So did that, lifted twice a day. So I would lift before school, and then right after school would lift again, and put on all the way up to, I topped out at 205 pounds.
Jeez.
And at 5'7", that's a lot of weight.
Was it lean?
It was not. I was sitting probably 25% body fat at that time. So I had a substantial amount of body fat, but I
had a
also
little
put
bit of
on a
jiggle.
lot of, there was some jiggle. I had no neck left. It was just like 3 little bumps going down to my chest there.
So you could have been on Survivor and lived pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. I'd have made it. And then life kind of took over. After that summer, I kind of didn't have time for the gym, couldn't afford it anymore. I was going to school and working full time, and it eventually couldn't even afford going to school, and fitness and everything became put on the back burner until 28. I was
Because you moved around quite a bit.
I did. I even in North Carolina, I was moving around in North Carolina all the time. I never had a stable home to be in for more than 9 months, maybe. Not necessarily from like bad things happening. It's just the way life is sometimes, So
Yeah. Because with your dad's business, moved around a little bit, right?
My brother and my business. So we had a grading business, but I kind of, from time to time, would want to try my own thing and go do other things and see if there wasn't better options elsewhere. And then I would always end up coming back just because he had consistent work. So, yeah.
So you tried and fell back on what you needed and kept moving around, and then you ended up out here on the West Coast.
I did. A friend of mine owned a farm out here. And so he said, I'm looking for help for the next however long until, you're willing, you want to quit or whatever happens. And so I came out. And that's that. I lived up in, Northern California since.
Yeah.
Where at?
In the Sonoma area. So like between Petaluma and Calistoga. Yeah.
It's nice out there.
It is.
Super nice.
Yeah.
And we were up on the side of a mountain where you could watch the fog from the bay roll in every single day. It's a pretty nice way to wake up.
Yeah. So I don't think I even heard this part, because we've known each other a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you end up in SAC?
This one right beside me on the couch, Victoria.
Hey.
Yep.
Say hi, Victoria.
That's not true. I knew that. That was my segue into this. I'm
Nailed
a
it.
professional.
Yeah, definitely. So after working on their farm for off and on for about 3 years, I got linked up with another friend of mine up in Humboldt, and I went up to Humboldt and worked there for about a year and a half. and kept driving down to Sacramento to try and link up with dispensaries around in the area and try and make connections that way, and met this one down here. And so I just used the traveling for work as an excuse to come down and spend time with her, a couple times a week until I couldn't take the 7-hour one-way drive, over and over and over.
I used to do the same thing when I was in the Navy in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
My then girlfriend, now wife, lived up in Yuba City. And so on Friday, I would just fly up, hang out. Sunday night, I'd leave at midnight, have to be down there by 7 a.m. to muster up, and just pull the all-nighter, work all day. No, I know that those drives, they are awful.
Yep.
But you do it.
Yep.
You do it.
At the time, still even now, it's absolutely worth it. But there is zero question in your mind at the time. You're like, this is just what I'm going to do. Yeah.
You get your routine set. I knew exactly what I had to do. I knew what time I had to be at what place. And I also had my 98 Cobra Mustang.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Something fun to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just, it was a good time.
Yeah, how many times did I make that drive to Sacramento in my commuter car? I didn't even have anything cool to drive. It's like, let me just sit here in my cloth seats.
30 plus miles to the gallon all the way.
That car gets almost 45 on the highway.
God, right.
Yeah. So you ended up in Sac, and then we met.
Yep.
We fell in love.
Yep.
It's been beautiful ever since.
Oh, every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit weird legal-wise, but we do what we can. Yeah, and then you contacted me and said, hey, I want to do a show, I need some help. And then we met up, and then we worked on a game plan, and we did, men's physique?
And classic as well.
And classic.
I did dual that year. Yep.
For the first one, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. It's been a couple years now.
Yeah.
Gotta go back. So we before we get to the funny stories about your prep, let's talk about the struggle of prep.
Yeah.
So we met, and I had already started doing your food before we met in person.
Right.
And for the most part, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple food. When, we did the better part of a 16-week prep?
I started a prep at 16 weeks. I had been about a week and a half in before I got in contact with you to do food. And my food at the time was just basically, 2 weeks out, show prep style. I did not realize what I was doing whatsoever. And I was eating incredibly lean to the point where if I had tried to step on stage, I would have been a skeleton.
Yeah.
How did you find Eric?
Through Jetta.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So during the holiday season, I don't want to give too much away where he works and people stalk you, but where they work during the holiday time, they would shuttle people in from a special parking lot. So they would park over here away from this unmarked location, and then I don't want stalkers because he's so pretty.
So Area 51, now I'm concerned.
It is.
Seriously?
I get people asking me when I get off work quite often. So
Got it. I see.
He's a hot commodity.
Arlington man.
So they were out on the same bus together coming in, and she was like, "Oh, I talked to this guy when I'm heading into work. He wants to do a show. Can I give him your info?" It's like, "Yeah, absolutely." Started talking. Sent me some progress pictures. It's like, "All right, we got a good base. Let's go. Here's our game plan." He said, what show we're gonna do. Here's the time frame. I already worked out a game plan from A to B in my head, and then we started cranking it out. My food's pretty straightforward. I mean, it probably really started getting, sucky. The better part of 5 weeks out?
Yeah, that's about exactly right. Yeah, I was thinking 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah. Then I started really, really honing in and really making it not pleasant.
A little variety, I'll say that. Yeah.
But it made shopping so easy.
I think
right.
Shopping was easy, but I was living with him at the time, and man, that was not fun for me though. I was like, "Where's my cookie?" So stuff started disappearing. But that's also when he threw in the fun stuff, randomly he would go, "Victoria, we have to go out and get pasta, and also bring in a muffin, whatever pasta place you want to go to. But I'm sneaking in this muffin."
Yeah. So we do scheduled cheat days depending on where they were. People call them cheat days, refeed meals, whatever you want to call them. So I would see, okay, look at the progress pictures. He's getting too flat. We got to, kind of fluff him back up, and then just kind of keep working on it. Because if he gets too flat, then you have to backtrack, get him to fill up, and then fill up again, and it's counterproductive. So I try and keep him almost on the cusp of going completely flat, so just like a little bit full. And you lived with him, from a significant other standpoint. How hard is it just trying to be the support system for someone who's such tunnel vision of this is the only bit of food in life that I consume?
Well, my car turned into a pantry because literally on the way going home, I would just binge whatever I wanted to eat for the rest of the day. And then if I was home and I wanted to eat something, I have to go to the store now. Then I need to walk the dogs and grab cookies. But
we don't even have dogs, but we're going.
He was really good about it. Sometimes he would actually bring home like a piece of cake or something and go, one of the girls at work made this. I brought it home. Can you just eat it and tell me what it tastes like?
Just eat it and give me a kiss.
Yeah, you start living vicariously through food. It's weird. Yeah.
I think that would be the hardest part for me in doing a bodybuilding show.
It's funny because that's what every one of my clients has ever said. They go to the store and they buy food that they know they can't have, and then force other people to eat it in front of them, and then give them very vivid details about how it tastes. I want to know about the texture. Is it crunchy? Is it? Oh,
my problem would be I can stay moderately lean and look okay and still eat those things I want. So I'd be like, well, I can still kind of look like I want and eat it. Why am I gonna not?
But you also have to throw in that asterisk that you train for almost 6 hours a day. You do your bike ride and you still come in here and do mobility work, even though you don't train as heavy as you used to.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, not eating like chocolate chip, my style popcorn, ice cream by the pint. That would be tough. Yeah.
It's all Victoria.
That's my life.
You make a decision of when you set a date of when you're going to be on there, and I'm sure you're a self-motivated kind of person. Though, so when you make that decision, there's no question in your mind of eating those things anymore. You can stockpile them and you'll have them there waiting for you when you're done, or this is when I'm going to eat show day, to fill back up and that kind of stuff. But it becomes like a mindset.
No, that's true, and I know that once I clicked in, I would be able to do that, but I still just think that would be the hardest part.
It's the idea of it. It sounds worse than it really is. Because once you're in it, it's
that mindset is kind of universal when it comes to any athlete or anybody who can set themselves into a goal mind frame and say, okay, now I'm going to separate myself from what's normal or my normal day and just go chick. And like you said, there's no option, even if it's there, I can't eat it. I think that's something that's in common with most people that want to get into competition, want to compete, versus those people that just kind of, I just want to kind of just go through life and just see what happens. Because you see those kind of people trying to do what a lot of guys like Tyler do or you do and I do, and that doesn't compute because they don't have that process yet of how to click over and make it happen. And I see it with my athletes when they start, and then they learn to kind of, because there's a real goal, they really start seeing this possibly achievable that they've never had the opportunity to do before. But watching those processes, it's painful to watch because that they want the goal. They just don't know how to, like you said, create the non-option mindset.
So Tyler's a really neat student too, because he never gave me attitude for anything. Sometimes I get people and they're just like, this food sucks. I don't feel good. I don't like it. I would check on him. He's like, I'm doing okay. But intakes, you could see he's hurting. But not a complaints. Just kind of
Because that's kind of why you would get a coach, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like having Victoria there too of I'm so checked out. The mental struggle of going through a diet like that, of being exhausted, being tired, wanting to give up, and that kind of thing.
But still having to go through your normal day of being a human and then working.
Right. Yeah, you got to work, and at that time you were doing 2 jobs, right?
Yeah, I was. Yep.
Yeah, you had 2 jobs, plus he had to deal with me babysitting him.
Well, you have essentially, it is like 2 jobs.
No, he really had.
I
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was a personal trainer, and then I worked at the store I work at too.
Got it. So for him, it was like 3, but I'm saying for most people, it'd be like having 2 different main areas of focus.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the nice thing about hiring a coach. And old school bodybuilders give modern day bodybuilders a hard time. Like, oh, none of these guys prep themselves. Like, well, if you had the option for someone to tell you this is what you're going to eat and this is how you're going to train, and you can turn your brain off and just be an athlete.
No, exactly.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It takes that extra little bit of stress out of the equation, so you can be like, this is what I'm eating, this is what I'm going to cook.
Well, the old school bodybuilders had different stressors on their life than we do nowadays. And the other thing is bodybuilding, old school bodybuilding, it wasn't as big. It was definitely more of a hobby style. And so these guys were just kind of out and about.
Yeah, we're good. You can talk.
We're in the podcast.
I can cut it and edit it.
Okay.
It's not live.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Okay.
Everybody, this is my wife, Judy.
Hi.
This is Tyler and Victoria.
Nice to meet you, too. Victoria. Very good name.
You know Eric.
Your middle
Hello.
name. Yeah. Oh, that's so creepy that I know that. It's creepy that you know that. I'm like, oh, they must have told her. That's a weird thing to already know.
That's
I don't sense that.
Your middle name is.
Oh, she's
I met
good.
you before, right? He was at the.
Yeah, he was at the. Yeah.
Oh, I recognize you. Yeah.
She remembered. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought because he looks like one of the guys from the X-Men things.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
Everybody notices that, and at this point, we go to Walmart, and William B's at the checkout lines, and he goes, "Hey, you look like Chase McAvoy." I just throw a sweater in. Come on, let's go.
They know.
That's hilarious.
Just
Hi, Georgiana. Come here.
girl. Oh, she's excited.
Hi. Georgiana, can you please introduce yourself? Tell them your name. And when is your birthday?
December 31st.
Can you give them a bow, please? There you go. Thank you. Give you a kiss. A little one. A little. Thank you.
You look very cute today.
What do you say?
Thank you.
That's
Right. Okay, you want to go play? Yep. There's friends in the gym. Hi, Josephine. The fam. Yeah.
Anakin, dude.
Oh, dude, tell me about it. I know Josephine's walking now. She's just like,
No, it's too soon.
she started crawling, and then I'm not kidding you. Judy's like, oh, she started crawling. Oh, great. This was when she was in Reading.
Yeah.
Came back that Sunday. Monday, she's up on the couch, and then all of a sudden, boom. Within 2 days of her crawling, she's trying to stand up. And you can see her like, this was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And now she'll walk across the hallway. Whoa,
She's doing the penguin waddle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How old is she?
She just turned 10 months.
Holy cow!
And it's fun watching her, like, she'll grab, then she'll squat. She won't touch, she'll come up. She'll squat, she'll come back up. And I'm like, jeez, I can't even do that right now. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you got some crazy athletic kids, that's for sure.
Well, when you train her right.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. I mean, I'm sure she's seen it since day
Yeah.
one. You know.
Like Georgiana, my oldest, she'll just walk in and start doing pull-ups and push-ups and ring stuff and grabbing plates and just, oh, this is heavy. It's a 20-pound kettlebell. Put that down, please.
Yeah. Well,
Same with
for the powerlifting thing. She was helping carry kettlebells and weights, and I was like, I can't imagine that crushing your finger. You're like, be careful.
We go to the park and she'll jump up and grab the pull-up bar, and none of the other kids can jump, number one, but she'll grab, and then there was a dad there. He's like, oh, that's so cute. And I was like, all right, Georgiana, go ahead, do a pull-up. And the dad looks over like, and then Georgiana goes, okay. And looks over at the little boy and goes, no, like this. See? And the dad's just like, get over here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's funny when Audrey's here playing with Georgiana,
Yeah.
because there's only a little bit of a height difference, but they both have the same broad shoulders, cap delts. They're just like, we've bred superhumans.
Two little mini meat
and
women.
then we high five like yes.
And it's fun to watch because they're both like that strong, independent personality where, okay, but we still have to behave properly, but no,
But they're both,
fun to watch.
watch me!
Yeah.
No, you watch me!
You can see the fire inside. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
hold it in,
Big
hold
time.
it in.
It's my turn to play on the rope.
Yeah.
That's
You
fun.
see, like, they're kosher with each other, but when that light switch would hit, like,
Yeah.
if it came down to it, I mean, it would be like,
It would be
I'll
fun.
kill you!
We digress.
Oh god, a child battle to the death.
Kids are fun.
Well, so when Audrey was born, she had this weird, like, cherry birthmark, and, because I'm such a smartass, people would come in and they'd be like, oh, like, I haven't seen your baby yet. And it stayed there for, like, the better part of 6 months. And so I would tell people, I'm like, yeah, she was actually a twin, and she killed the other one in the womb. This is a battle wound. And people didn't know what to do. They're like, is he joking?
That's awesome.
Because I just do it with a straight face, but yeah. She had a twin. Killed her. Just like, let this awkwardness continue.
Yeah, and they'll like hold that awkward for as long as you sit there and stare and don't make any kind of like facial change whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're like,
I've gotten pretty good at just making the awkwardness continue. It's like,
I feel awkward and I'm not even like I know the inside of it
Yeah.
all too.
Don't sound like you don't know me.
that was so good. It was like this like mini panic. Like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do?
Can you grab my? Oh, never mind.
You wanted a certain section?
I was gonna say my sweater, but
You getting cold? Oh yeah, I guess it's quite a bit colder down here than it is there.
yeah,
I'm sweating.
I got like blood pressure issues here on my head.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
You should get. They have spleen tablets, and it helps force blood through the capillaries.
Oh,
So it'll help with stuff like that.
what will make my hands stop sweating?
Make your hands stop sweating,
Yes.
or are you having like a sugar crash, like the cold sweats?
No, like my hands are always sweating.
Constantly.
I have. So I started doing.
She's hypoglycemic.
Yeah,
Slightly.
No,
No.
okay, so yeah, cold sweats.
Mhm.
Yeah.
always. But I started doing pole fitness, and so now like every time I'm on there, I'm like constantly wiping off my hands. Like
Oh.
so.
Well, for something like that, you should probably get like one of those just, like fast-acting carb drinks, like waxy maize, just to get some type of glycogen in there.
Vitargo.
I personally think it sits too heavy in my stomach.
Do you?
But I know you like it a
Yeah,
lot.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not for me. But yeah, carb drinks, stuff like that. If you go in hypoglycemic, relatively often, that's a good thing to have. It'll help sustain and then just increase a little bit more fat.
That's smart.
I didn't even think about
I'm surprisingly smart.
Sometimes.
Until I start pulling out your carbs, you're like, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing.
That is like when like life changes. Holy cow.
Every time I see really cute babies like that, I have to think of like really crazy babies, so that way.
Your hormones balance out.
Yeah.
You're
Some
like,
kids
baby fever, and you're like, I gotta cock block myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I started thinking about other kids that I've met. I'm like, tubes tied. Some babies, I'm like, my ovaries. Other babies, I look and I'm like, well, it's time to get my tubes tied. Wonder if I'm old enough yet.
Sorry about that, guys.
There you
No
go.
worries.
We both got stuck in way more traffic than either one of us would have thought.
Yeah, no worries. Anybody knows what that trip is like and the traffic on that is. Dude, every
I
time
lost count. It was funny because I was telling someone yesterday. It was like, I used to, like, when I first started dating Jetta, we would dread if we were the one who was chosen to drive.
if you were chosen.
Yeah. It's like, I did it last time. It's like, fine.
Well, you're just in the middle of it and you're like, how much is a helicopter?
Well, it's funny because before she moved in, I was like, my uncle has his pilot license, and I asked him, like,
Oh.
is there an airport near there? And he was like, yeah, there's one. It's like maybe like 4 miles down the road. I'm like, how hard is it to get a pilot license?
I know, I've looked into it. A couple of my clients have their own plane. One of them their son has a pilot's license.
Yeah.
And he's like, one summer, I just went and got it after school. I was like, huh.
Yeah, it was,
It's like, let me know,
it was
we'll go to
surprisingly
lunch one
easy.
day.
Yeah.
It's like, huh.
Yeah, he sold his last plane to a museum.
He what?
He sold his last plane to a museum.
They said stole.
Oh no, well he might have done that too. But yeah, like every once in a while he'd just be like, yeah, it's like I get all my stuff done and I just fly to Monterey for lunch, then I come back. It's like,
What if we started an Airbus transportation system from here to there? Not like a full plane, but like a plane with a trailer. Is that legal? We'll talk off.
I'm wondering about the landing situation.
It's in my head.
That's what,
It glides behind. It just glides down.
Is this the in-law unit?
It's a plane with a
Your
trailer.
mother's gonna sit in the back. You can bring your dog.
We'll work the logistics out. We'll call NASA for the physics.
We could call him Neil Tyson.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, he knows all about physics.
He does.
All about
We could call it dark matter just to piss him off.
Physics.
All right, so a little sidetracked.
Yep.
Coming
again,
back to it.
We digress.
So we did the 16-week prep for your first one. Started getting kind of sucky around, 5 weeks out, give or take.
16 weeks. Sorry, real quick. So, take me through is it like sectioned out? Is it blocked?
Yeah. So I have kind of like pregnancy, like there's like different like trimesters. So I give them like little blocks. I'm like, okay, here is our learning process of me learning your body, because every prep we do is different. So
How long does that one take?
Generally it takes me about 2 weeks, give or take. So I know, are these carbs working for them? Because they're kind of like oddball, like they're scattered all over. So then I ask him this gigantic questionnaire, more detailed than, a dating app. Like, I need to know everything that you do. What time of the day do you poop? What color is it? Does it smell? And that's a weird thing. It's being like, is your pee frothy? And like,
It's important to know.
it is, but it's the first couple of times.
Odd.
It is like the first couple of times I'm like, I don't really know you this well. I feel like we're dipping into some really personal things. I'm like, how's your poop? Are you gassy? I'm like,
But my guess is you've already had kind of an idea of how your body was acting and reacting to Tyler, and when he gave you the questionnaire.
Actually, I'd become kind of autopilot with my days, and so there were things that I didn't really think about until he brought it up, and I was like, oh, I should really be honed in on even, say, hour to hour how I'm feeling, because we're switching up carb sources, we're also switching up proteins, and I should know like how I'm feeling. Like, is this something that's sticking with me, or is this something that I'm quickly burning? Is it a sustained kind of energy that I'm feeling?
And there's another value in having a coach where we do kind of go on autopilot as athletes. Because if what I'm doing seems to be working, I'm not necessarily sure how I can make it work better. Then a coach comes in and kind of fills in some of those gaps, and you go, oh, I guess we can make it work a little bit better. Which block or which trimester was your favorite, Todd?
probably early on because you had good food.
There it is, exactly. And because the first, like I said, the first week and a half to 2 weeks, I was eating like extremely lean. And so he was like, oh, we have to kind of counteract what you've been doing already. And so I'm going to throw in twice a day, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, just eating regularly or however you like to eat it.
But I had him doing shots of olive oil before he went to bed.
Just carry those fast.
Whole egg at night. And then we even switched to...
I had him overeating when I first started doing his food because his food was too clean, and so I had to re-stretch his stomach back out. So for a while, he had a hard time actually eating all the food that I wrote down.
Wow. Which you wouldn't think as a bodybuilder would be that big of a problem. That far out.
It's uncomfortable because you're eating to the point where you want to throw up, and then as soon as that feeling starts to go away, it's time to eat again. And it's like, this seems like a lot of food. It's like, we have to backtrack because as a natural athlete, I have to do things a lot differently.
Yeah.
So I have to look at where is his thyroid production just normally, and then how do I force it to speed up?
It's in the mouth or it's in the bottom.
But yeah, so, we break things down into different sections. And so the first part was good because he had such an abundance of food, and, he was just a machine. This is the kind of cardio I'm going to do. This is the kind of workouts I'm doing. And he schooled me on something till this day that I'm still mad about. The abs.
Mm-hmm.
I have never done an ab circuit that intense to the point where I thought I was going to throw up. And he did, what'd you do, like 3 or 4 rounds of this?
Three rounds a day. So it ended up being
A day?
Yeah. So in a 15 to, if I'm dragging it out, maybe 17-minute period, you do 740 actual contractions of your abs.
So it worked from the groin to your pecs, all the way over. I mean, there was not an ounce of the obliques, the abdominals, anywhere that wasn't just in pain. And he did it. I mean, he looked like one of those, like, you know, girls doing like a jazzercise thing. He was like so effortlessly. And he was like, come on, just keep going and then do this with your elbow and this with your knee. And I'm over there. I'm like checking my pulse. I'm like, oh, I can't breathe. He's like, okay, great. 2 more. Nope. I'm the coach. I say what goes, and I'm going to go cry in the corner.
I forgot I did, like, because in that particular time it was 4 of us together.
Yeah, because Robert was there, and
Yep.
Jenna fell asleep on the floor.
Yep. So I was sitting there, as like you said, the jazzercise coach, you know, encouraging everybody, like, come on, guys, we got this.
And he's looking in the mirror while he's doing it. He's like, yeah, Robert, you're doing really good. And Robert's doing better than I am, because I'm just like in powerlifter mode. At this time, I'm just like, I just want to lift as much heavy stuff as I can. I don't care what I look like. So I've been eating pizza, you know, not good. And so there he is, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm like, got this long hair, I got these great abs. He's like, I got tattoos. Yeah, I'm so hot.
I'm so hot right now.
And I'm just like, no, I'm beached whale.
I'm so heavy right now.
But we'll come back to that because there's a funny story about that day. But as the food got closer to the show and we started getting more restrictive, because, you know, not a lot of people step on stage. A lot of people don't know, you know, what it takes to do mentally. As we got closer, probably around week 3, what kind of mental things happened?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. When did it start becoming hard? Like, oh man, I gotta go there. I gotta stay mentally focused. Here it is.
It was pretty tough because, God, I have to say, even in like week 8, it was pretty tough because working both jobs, it was right after New Year's. So of course, that's when like the rush of, oh, I need to get my personal training in. So I was seeing client after client after client after client. And then I would...
Makes for a long day.
And then at my store, of course, everybody's spending all the Christmas money. So it was incredibly busy there as well. So I have to say that was pretty challenging. But once really the mental was when carbs were cut out. Because then you go from like just performing the most mundane activities become incredibly hard.
Mm-hmm.
I would squat down in the store to pick something up and I'd stand up and have to brace myself because all of a sudden there's no blood in your head and you're like, I need a second to breathe. Like having a continual train of thought was incredibly hard too. I would literally stop in the middle of a sentence and go, I don't even know what I was saying. Okay, actually it's coming back now, and then I don't know where I was going with it, but here's the rest of that sentence. If that finishes what I was trying, you know.
And that was just on a restricted, not necessarily like a cutting.
No,
No,
well, I mean the whole thing is, you know,
I understand it's cutting, but it's like
it wasn't that last bit of like we got to suck everything down.
Right.
that's what
It was
right.
still, you know, functional food, and that was really tricky because he was so busy trying to find, and his schedule was constantly fluctuating between the clients and then, you know, the other store. So trying to figure out how to time the food to give him enough, you know, brain food fuel was really tricky. I'm like, okay, if I give you this, we slow down the fat burning process at this time.
Yeah.
But I know it'll help you during work. So trying to find, you know, the happy medium of how do I make you a normal person but still get us to where we need to be.
Because you were in that state and you still had to come out and you're like, I've bodybuilding show in 8 weeks. I still have to work out hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 3 hours a day, pretty much. If you include the cardio portion of it, it's about 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the intensity of those workouts kept falling off because it's, you know, you can't maintain the same intensity on 1,000 less calories a day. You know, but yeah, 3 hours a day, at least 6 days a week. It was rare that I would take off a day because, like we keep saying, the mindset of an athlete. Once you turn that switch, you're like, I have X amount of training sessions left. And if I skip one day, you know, I'm going to regret it on stage. Yep. And then there's the other mental challenge of like energy goes out of the window and you just start questioning everything. Your like mental fortitude of believing in yourself kind of goes away, and you like question it all the time.
Because you no longer, I imagine when you start, you're like, yeah, I picked that show, there's my date, you feel like you're on top of the world, I'm going to look like that, all right, here we go. And people think it's like this line to it, and really it's like a trough
Yep.
to it. Where
It's upside down rainbow.
you drop down, and then you have to pull yourself back up for that show.
Yep.
And when you're going through it, now, I don't feel like I'm on the top of the world, I don't see myself in that position. Having to be able to continue on and kind of trust the process and the plan, that's where that mental toughness comes in.
And I'd say, I mean, a trough sounds like you have an upswing. It's literally like it's down, 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 down until maybe day of or night of when you start to refuel and refeed and you start to fill back out. And then you're like, okay, this is how I'm going to look. Because up until that point, you feel flat, you look flat, everything's tight, you're dehydrated.
The joints hurt.
Everything hurts. Like, we were walking.
Train.
Every episode.
Every episode, everyday life at Crossfit San Mateo.
You guys can do like some things and go train time.
That's a good idea. We're like, ding ding. What's the old school? Oh, that's
Really
the train was
ring the
coming? Yeah.
They should get one of those kids like wooden train with some.
So even day of the show, I'm walking and I've just got my gym bag on my shoulder that's got like my food and my mat that I'm going to lay on backstage and some resistance bands to warm up or to pump up. And I start cramping from holding that. I mean, it's nothing. It's probably 5 pounds in total. And I have to get Victoria to carry it for me because I'm like, I don't know that I can walk to the car without just cramping up. Like, you are absolutely depleted. Everything hurts. Joints, everywhere.
Even had to call out the last couple of days of work because he literally could not drive at a certain point.
Yeah. Well, I the last 5 days of work, I just said, hey guys, I'm not going to be making it in because, I don't know that I can walk.
Dude, I love that commitment though.
Robert. Out of every client I've ever had, Robert's the only person that worked up until the day of the show. Everyone else was so depleted that they had to take, almost an entire week off from work because you can't function. I mean, you're so depleted and the brain function is just, foggy at best.
At best.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
You're just zombified. Because I remember coming around the corner, seeing him, and being like, hey, dude. And it was like looking at like a human sloth. It's like, yay.
It's crazy. You as a kid, you get sugar rushes and you have these like extreme highs and then you spike and you come down and everything. It's almost like that, even with just eating without the carbs, like that last week you eat a meal and like for maybe 30 minutes or so, you're good. You're like, I can make it.
This is what it's like. Oh, good. Okay.
But you would see him, like scraping the edge of everything, trying to get that last little bit of, oil or sauce, whatever it was left in the container. Just like, I can't scrape this hard enough.
Can I eat the bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because it was down to chicken and broccoli pretty much every meal. And so you're like, oh, but that water from the steamed broccoli has nutrient in it. I think I'm going to drink that. That's going to be good.
So then when you got to the show and you're dead, how far out did you start eating again to get yourself ready to go? Because you can't walk on stage like that, right?
No. So probably about 12 to 18 hours beforehand.
So you've been 16 weeks out, going down into that trough, all to pinpoint it to about 16 hours out.
Yeah.
And it was tricky because we had an issue where we actually pulled out too much water. And so when he started eating food...
Too much water too soon?
No, too much water in general.
Yeah.
So we pulled out the sub-Q water, and then it started to pull out the water from inside the muscle tissue.
Sub-Q water is, for our listeners that don't know?
In between the muscle tissue and the skin. So the water that you would see that hides the definition. Yes.
Big word. Subcutaneous.
It is a big word.
It's fun.
I went to public school. I don't know these kind of things. So we pulled out the first bit of water. Looked awesome. Went to pull out the last little bit and throw in some carbs. Pulled out too much water. then tried to backtrack and try and rehydrate him. And trying to get him to hydrate because the food was stuck in the top part of the stomach. It had no fluids to go down. So then we fought.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I felt really bad. It's like, you know, you're at that cusp, and then I thought he had more wiggle room. That, you know, it's like, okay, we pulled out that much water, we got a little bit more to go. Well, we didn't. And then we had to backtrack, and I could see he was uncomfortable, you know, he's achy, he does not feel good, trying to, like, load him and not, you know, overdo it at the same time, because then you don't want, like, giant bloated stomach from so much water, it needs time to dissipate. So from a coaching standpoint, it was really hard.
So all this between 12 and 16 hours out from the show.
And a whole
Beep,
lot.
beep, beep, beep.
Yep, I'll have to edit.
Yes.
And yeah, it was tricky. And then, you know, he's naked and he's spray tanned and he stinks because he didn't have deodorant on. And I'll tell you this because I love you, but you were stinky.
Guilty.
Victoria knows.
Oh yeah.
You smell like spray tan. You haven't showered. You don't have deodorant on. You have ammonia breath.
It comes with the territory, right?
The breath thing is the worst because you start cutting everything down and all your nutrients gone. So different stages of the diet have different, you know, breaths.
Yeah.
The last part is the worst because you just have like pure like ammonia breath. So you can chew gum and you can still smell the bad breath over the gum.
You're blowing my mind right now because I was wondering why. Like, oh my god.
You're like, I didn't want to kiss you at all. You were gross.
And that's when he's so depleted and tired. He literally just like, can you please hold this? Thank you. And I'm just like, no, I'll hold it. You don't have to. Like, it's cool, man.
It's horrible when you're laying next to that person and they roll over and they start breathing at you and you're just like, oh God.
Turn.
You're doing great.
Turn.
You're doing great.
Oh, that is the worst. Because when I had Jenna dieting probably harder than anyone else because she lived with me, so I could push her really hard and babysit everything. And that happened one time. She had rolled over and did the and it woke me up because it was so bad. And I was like, babe, you gotta turn over. And it like expelled even more. And I was like, pillow.
It's funny.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, prep's not easy, and it's not for everyone. And you know, probably more people that hear this to understand that, you know, it's not all rainbows, man. It's you purposely put yourself. I mean,
Well, people only see what's on stage.
Yeah.
right, and so you
Nobody sees what happens just behind those the wooden barriers.
yeah, they just see a
The pump
guy.
room, or what happened the previous 16 weeks, the 12 hours led up to just that. Okay, here we go. Okay, boom, pose.
Yeah, they just
Everything before that is such a long, arduous road.
And I'll say, even just the perspective of being backstage versus being out in the audience, you can see the look of death on people backstage. In the audience, it's not as apparent because you're so much further back.
That's
And
true.
they look
Yeah.
great from that distance. Like you're at that perfect distance to where you're like, man, that is what I want to look like. And then you see these people backstage, and they are just like shells of people.
Yeah.
because on stage they've done their posing so many times that they've gotten it to be second nature to throw on that fake smile.
Yeah.
And so they stand on stage, they hit their poses, and they look like they're happy. But as
Look
soon
like
as
they're
they
happy.
turn around or they come off stage with people waiting, you know, in their line for them to get called out, they're just counting down the moments till it's over. But
To build 16 weeks, or even farther than that for some people,
yeah,
to get to that point, to still feel that way.
yeah,
Like, you don't feel good until after. It's not even like, I'm going to hit the game-winning home run. I feel so amazing during. It's like, I feel like garbage right now. Yep, don't let anybody know.
Yep.
Get off stage and go, oh, I just want candy. Oh, I just want candy.
when we talked about it, I said, you know, you're gonna feel your worst when you look your best. And it's a really weird thing for people to understand, and then you start seeing like, wow, like my abs look awesome. I want to cry.
I want to cry.
But there's so much stuff that goes on in the background that the people, you know, who are not involved in the sport,
Yeah.
you know, they're not at an advantage to see. You know, they might hear some stories, but the posing is horrendous. Because especially the way that I structure it, I'm very meticulous. I don't allow any of my athletes to shake on stage. So we go through it to the point where you're drenched in sweat. I mean, it's a whole nother workout.
Well, posing is, it's more than just flexing your muscles
Yeah.
in front of the mirror. And I think that's another major misconception, along with the buildup that it takes, is what's actually happening on stage that you're just seeing when all these guys go through. How long is your most posing routines?
About 60 seconds.
About a minute
Yeah.
of intense contractions, is like trying to go 100% into it.
Yeah.
And you're not happy about being up there and having to do it.
No. So there's a couple funny stories for Tyler's posing thing. So Tyler did 2 classes. I've been looking forward to telling this story so much.
How dare you?
So he did 2 classes. He did men's physique, which is where they wear board shorts, and the premise of the class is you want to have like that good beach look. You want, a good smile, you want good abs, and that's pretty much the gist of it. You got to be cute, which is him because he's adorable, and I taught him well. And so then there's the classic division where they're in almost like booty shorts.
Yeah.
And so, it's more, there's actual bodybuilding poses. You can see the legs. So there's actual flexing involved, not just standing there with a smile being like, hey, what's up? And, but one of the biggest struggles that we had was teaching Tyler to walk. It sounds really simple. It's not.
Oh no, I know.
So there's very few people that I get angry at. Tyler's one of those people. So in the men's physique where you're wearing the board shorts, you're supposed to walk from one side of the stage into the middle, turn, do a couple poses, yada, yada, yada. But when you walk out there needs to have that flow of confidence. So I used, for an example, I said, okay, I want you to watch the Bee Gees music video, Staying Alive. So, well, you can tell by the way I walk up.
Oh yeah, no,
Okay,
I think
so,
everybody went there.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Now it's gonna stay there.
I helped. And so there's a mild shoulder roll to it. It's a little bit up, it rolls down, and they do like a mild, it's a circular motion. So you have this little swag to it.
Look at that.
I know,
Confidence.
I'm
just oozing right there.
I'm so good at this. I'm
You're
a
not
professional.
fat. You're not fat.
No. But the hips have to do something too. The hips have to do like a Charleston shuffle.
Look at me.
Like hey,
I'm here.
what's going on? And so you just kind of picture. You've seen The Big Lebowski.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there's a scene where they cut into the bowling scene, and there's a larger man, very happy. So it's half of that. It's half of that with the Fabio hair.
You cannot go wrong.
Right. So these sound like relatively simple instructions. Well, this does not translate over into Tyler's head because this consisted of me yelling from one side of the room to him.
At the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
So we started doing posing, I don't know what, maybe 12 weeks out, give or take?
Yeah.
And we went through this a couple times, but getting him to walk with a nice shoulder roll that didn't look like a girl in high heels doing the dinosaur walk was really tricky. So he would start walking, and it was bad. And then it got worse.
Just saying.
Well, so
bad.
we ended.
Yes, still.
We did a reverse rainbow because we started bad, and then it got really bad, and then it got less bad.
It clicked.
So I told him, it's like, okay, we're going to do some posing later, and I need to help you with your walk. Let's run to the liquor store right here and get you a little shot. That way it'll help kind of like calm your nerves and, it'll flow a little better. He jumps, he's like, oh, don't worry, I got a full bottle in my car.
It's under my seat, half empty.
Exactly.
So we're in the gym parking lot, and he pulls out this gigantic bottle of Jameson. He's like, I'm ready. And so we get there, and it's myself, Robert, Tyler, and Jetta. 3 out of the 4 of us are dieting. I'm not. I'm in coach mode. So I watch the 3 of them enjoy their Jameson, and we start working with him. And he's not understanding the shoulder roll. And it becomes almost like a really bad, shimmy.
Ooh.
And so it's getting progressively worse. And I'm like, all right, stop, start over. You just have to have flow. Stop, start over. I got to have more shoulder. Stop, you got to have more shoulder. Now, a couple minutes go by. Now it's me just yelling, stop! I'm pulling my hair out. I'm like, you have to walk. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
You just have to walk. I'm like, all you have to do is look like you're cute. He's like, all right, I got it.
Oh.
And I'm like,
For those of you listening, that was not cute.
it was not cute. So I'm like, I got to film this so you can see what it looks like. He goes, oh yeah, this isn't good. I'm like, all right, we're on the same page.
Oh, these look like crap. What is this? Oh god.
So it finally got to where it needed to be, but it took some time.
That's hilarious.
He got the posing down really quick. He was really good with it. Got the smile down, but the walk. And so he goes backstage for the show, and I'm sitting there, and I'm doing my little praise. I'm like, please, don't let anything bad happen to my athletes. I hope everything goes great. And the final part of my prayer is like, please let Tyler walk like a normal person. and he comes out, and I was like, this guy's been playing possum with me the whole time. He comes out, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing the runway walk. I'm like, where was this guy the last 12 weeks? And he does his posing. He did great. Did exactly what we sought out there to do.
It clicked.
Yeah.
When you do what you have to do, and it comes game time, you just do it.
And whiskey's great for stuff like that too.
Yeah.
By the way, I have to get in there. And I promise you guys I'd take them through a workout
Yeah.
at 2.
The kids?
I told them, no, the parents.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be exciting.
There will be.
I'm just going to take them through a CrossFit workout, and then are you guys going to train?
I would like to. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool, because I would like to, after that, get a pump.
Okay,
What are you guys going to do? Do you know?
He's
I
close.
literally can do anything today. I didn't work out yesterday, and the day before I did shoulders and triceps and arms. So I'm recovered today for
Okay.
anything.
Anything but lats.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
that
schooled
was
him.
so good.
I schooled him.
That was good.
With a 10 on each side.
Well,
Doing the different hand positions on rows, barbell rows.
A little bit.
little bit, yeah.
Just proper squeeze, had him slow things down.
Which is what I wanted, because I'm not getting away from weights, but I've started racing bikes, cycling, and so it's like just different needs.
Yep.
And so I wanted to get some muscle activation and just kind of get those hormones going again.
So we've just been changing his stuff around, working on his nutrition, and then I help with his tissue work before his races. And obviously he's the largest cyclist
I was
I've
gonna
ever
say,
seen.
yeah.
Dude, by a good 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Look like everybody's dad.
Yeah.
Like, okay, kids, ride safe now. I'll be here in the back. Way back.
So he had a race. When was the last race? Like 2 months ago, give or take?
Yeah, about a month ago or so.
So he sends me the pictures from the professional photographer. It looked like he was photoshopped in there.
Yeah.
Because there's
He's
all
the giant on top of the
there's all these like stick figure guys, and then there's just dose.
Yeah, he's like, what's that trunk thing? Oh, that's your arm. Because next to everybody else, cyclists, they're tiny.
Oh my god, yeah.
So I'm out there just huge. They like drafting behind me when they
Oh, I
want to
bet.
slow.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better.
Yeah,
Getting better.
I'm helping.
Yeah. It takes a team.
Yeah, it does.
They could probably light a cigarette behind you because of there's no way.
Yeah. No, it's
You
true.
block everything.
Like
for
they
them.
get back there and you just see them start slow pedaling.
Yeah.
Because I just pull
Yeah.
them right along. So somebody's gonna take these guys to a workout.
Alright. I'm gonna wrap this up with them. Yeah,
Perfect.
cool. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay. Oh, let's see what they got.
But yeah, we definitely had some fun with the posing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you did, but I liked the holds that we did.
Yeah.
I don't know that they were as long as 30 seconds, but God, they felt even longer than that.
Yeah.
But that really kind of could solidify you into hitting those poses.
Yeah.
When you've
And
held
you
it
just-
that long and you know where you're contracted, you know how it feels. It's easy to go out on stage, nerves rolling all through your stomach and everything. It doesn't matter because you just go into that routine.
Yeah, and then I remember I was trying to describe the posing routine that I designed for you, so filmed it, and then I sent it to you,
Mhm.
which was amazing. And then Victoria had to deal with you doing the posing all the time.
Oh yeah. A couple times a day with her, and then probably a dozen times by myself a day, which does me no good because you need somebody to look at you,
Make sure that it's going right,
Yeah.
everything's squeezing. Now, because you've seen the posing routine, more than your fair share of times.
I know the posing routine by heart at this point, and like he skipped a part one time, and I was like, no, that's the part where you get up slowly.
Did you start doing the posing when he wasn't there? You're like, I'm gonna do the poses too.
No, I don't have any muscle. I'm just a twig, so I don't want to be like twig.
You saw it all the time. You'd come home, you'd eat, you'd pose. Were you just like, oh, enough with the posing?
I started like, I would kind of make it fun after a while and start doing like that. Then go what? Yeah, and just kind of do stuff like that. But
You have to switch it up. I mean, there needs to be a baseline of routine, but just like with your workouts, you cannot go in and do the exact same workout. So, yeah, just to make it interesting, you have to have somebody there, especially when you're in that like you're 2 weeks out prepping and you're just dead and you're like I did the moves, like I don't care how it looked, I did them. And then you got to have somebody to keep you in check.
Like, hey, abs, they're not tight, do it again.
Yep.
I would walk up to him if he was not like just flexing one more than the other. I'd walk up and be like, this right here needs to be more flexed on this side.
Yeah.
You can't be lopsided.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah. So it's great. It's great having someone there, especially when you live with them.
Yep.
You've got that great support system. They're helping with the food. They're making sure that you're not eating the wrong thing, keeping you mentally strong, poking your muscles, making sure they're flexed.
Yeah.
But so goofy stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Obviously, you can't have any body hair for the bodybuilding show, and especially when you wear little skimpy booty shorts.
You can have no body hair.
How was that life-changing experience?
It's really funny because I tell this story a lot now of trying to shave my armpit. When you're full and you have some extra fat under there, it's easy because it all kind of sticks out. But when you are that depleted and that thin,
and it just sucks to your body like
bumpy
cellophane.
and muscly, yeah, exactly. You're like, I did not know there were 50 different angles within my armpit that I can't even fit a razor into, and I don't know how I'm going to get it. So it has to be a teamwork effort at that point. You pull the skin one direction, and the other person comes in and shaves that area, and you pull the skin the other direction, and yeah.
that was a fun experience with you.
Yeah, it's bonding.
Interesting.
And your butt naked in the shower or wherever while it's happening too, and so it's absolute bonding right there.
You just we're at that level of trust.
Yep.
Let's
Can you
go.
shave the hair above my butt? That needs to go too. So yeah.
Bend over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then you got no hair, and then you're naked for your spray tan.
Yep.
So you're very vulnerable for a lot of this prep.
Yep, and that's something that people don't think about is they're like, oh, I'm going to walk on stage in these shorts with my shirt off in front of all these people. Well, you don't realize you're going to be backstage getting sprayed butt naked in front of all of these people too. It's not as private as you would hope being naked.
We just did a show in Tahoe with Robert.
Right.
And it was the most isolated I've ever seen them ever do the tanning before. They had, they probably had the better part of almost 18 different individual booths.
Wow.
And they had a section just for guys, they had a section just for girls, which I had never seen before. And they were cranking athletes out, and everyone was in their own little thing. You stood here. They were colored, so you couldn't really see into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And they had big sheets everywhere, so spectators couldn't just look at naked people. And the lady would come by, start making commands, spray them. All right, stand here and dry with your arms out so it doesn't run in your armpits. Get out.
Yep.
And I remember the show that we did. Not a whole lot of privacy for a lot of stuff.
Not at all. You walked in the same door that the women went in. You just, men go to the left, women go to the right, but the tents are all right there next to one another. It's just the women's is facing one direction and the men's is facing the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's it. This last one I did was even kind of more odd because in the tents they at least have fans. So before you go in your tent,
nice.
and you stay in there and you dry in your tent. But this last one I just did, you come out and you stand around about 10 to 15 other guys that have all just gotten sprayed, and everybody's standing there naked trying to have normal conversation while your arms are up and you're standing in these awkward positions, doing Egyptian god kind of poses and hieroglyphic poses, and
Open your knee this way.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're like half squatting in front of them too, and
Yep.
drying all the necessary areas.
Yeah, it's a weird sport for sure.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. And then you got bit by the bug. So you did the first show. We did the two divisions, and then you just competed a handful of months back, and you did just classic, right?
Right.
And that conditioning way better.
Right. I agree 100%. Yep.
But we had much more fun with this one too.
Yes.
So we'll backtrack a little bit. So the first prep we did, we tried to do a relatively clean carb load because when we did our trial runs, that worked really well.
Exactly.
And then we pulled too much water out, and then we were trying to backtrack and then fill you up, and then we had some issues. This prep, we didn't do anything like that. But for the carb up, we realized early on that the cleaner carbs were not working for you. You were sending me pictures. Train time! That we ran into the issue of, okay, these relatively, good carbs that we're going to use are not filling up the muscle bellies. You're just burning through them as soon as you eat them. So I told you, I knew exactly what hotel you were at. I knew exactly where the store was.
Yeah.
Said, okay, you got to run down to the 7-Eleven. That's, a block and a half away. And here's this list of oddball stuff that you had to get. We went through a couple muffins.
Yeah.
We went through Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah. My favorite.
And what else did we do? There was something else on that list.
Donuts.
Donuts, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. And, God, you're a happy camper.
Oh my God, was that?
I've never seen him that smiley, that quick. He was just dragging, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. And suddenly he gets like the life-saving ding on his phone. He looks and he's like, "Hey, Jordan, we gotta go to 7-Eleven." And I'm okay, I guess we're going to 7-Eleven. I've never seen somebody.
Do you turn into the little kid at Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was around there, he was hunting inside of the 7-Eleven, just going around the corner way too fast. Just there's the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
We started walking the wrong direction to the 7-Eleven to begin with, and it did not matter to me because in my mind I
You
was
knew
like,
at the end, you're like, I'm getting those candies, yeah. And so that was kind of a neat thing because we did a junk load, which is not something that I normally do, but I knew for where you were with your level of depletion and trying to carb up that we needed essentially just sugar and just we needed just junk.
yeah.
And it works great.
It
I mean that was the best we've ever looked. I mean, we were very, very dry, much drier than I expected us to be. And the muscles were full. Everything had plenty of separation. You had veins everywhere.
Mhm.
You looked gross, so it was great.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing. You look gross, but it was great.
Like I said, seeing in person versus seeing from the stage or from the audience perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
In person, you're like, oh, you're gross.
Yeah.
And then from the audience, you're like, oh,
yeah,
yeah,
look
that's
at that
great.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and just a couple little hiccups with that show, just based on some timings of when we were supposed to go on stage and things like that. That I wish we would have, not we, but the organization had done better with. But as far as the looks, I was extremely happy.
Yeah, we got those pictures, and that's the only show I've never been to for anyone that I've done work with, and that bugged me so much. So I'm like, I'm not there, and I was stuck here. It's like it frustrated me so much. But I got the pictures from you, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I was like, this is exactly where we needed to be. Everything filled out the way we needed to. Did great.
Yeah, I was very happy. Yeah, especially like we talked about because you're questioning your confidence the whole way up to it, and then I was questioning the way I was looking because I felt very flat. And then once we refilled, I looked a lot better. I felt a lot better, and then the confidence was kind of there again. It was just like this, like you said, this is the best I've ever looked. And it's the best I'm gonna, step on stage. And it's always about being better than the last time you were on stage. For me, it's not necessarily it's great to win and come away with that, but it's much more rewarding to know that you just did better than the last time you were there.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at the pictures, I mean, it's night and day.
Absolutely.
And then we talked about this earlier, you're a natural athlete, going against guys who are the better part of 50, 60 pounds heavier than you in the same division.
Yeah.
Obviously you're going to have a much different build. You know, it's going to have a different presentation, everything like that. So for us, conditioning is really key. You know, to go up there with, you know, just less muscle mass, you know, there's no way around it. But, you know, and to be still competitive in that lineup is, I mean, that's an award in its own right. It's definitely such a cool story to tell. I'm like, no, like, we were up there in the mix with the top guys with no drugs. High five! Yeah.
In the moment, you feel defeated. At least I do. I'm like, oh man, maybe I should. But then every time I step away from it, there's a sense of pride of that I don't need it. You know, I like the way I look. I like the knowledge of, you know, it may not be true because everybody trains incredibly hard, but I feel like I train harder, you know, to get to the same level. And it just is, it's rewarding for myself.
Yeah. Well, and then this last prep that we did, I didn't really do a whole lot. I kind of did like weird, like sciencey stuff, like at the beginning, a little bit at the end. You pretty much controlled the food all by yourself. So, I mean, you know, I don't even think we've really talked about this even off air. The food that you did, was it similar to the first prep?
Absolutely, yeah. I you know, I had a good baseline idea. I still even had all the screenshots of the food you had given me in progress. And I knew the timings would be a little bit different.
Oh, good. You owe me more money now.
Yeah, right. The timings would be different because my workload and when I worked out was going to be different. But I kind of had a good idea of, okay, so tomorrow I've got a big, heavy leg day coming up. So I should start maybe the night before. If I'm going to be working out early in the morning, maybe the night before, load up on a little bit more carbs than I normally would. Or if I'm doing like a recovery day, sure, I would throw in a little bit of extra carbs or something like that. But the only main differences I think I did from the first prep to the second was more red meat than usual. But I also switched to lamb under your suggestion too.
That's good, right?
It was. It's a good switch up. You know, eating lamb every single meal, I realized.
Victoria's fine. You like the lamb too?
I have to thank you so much. We had lamb all the time, and that's one of my favorite foods.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. People ask me about that all the time. I started putting that in a couple people's plans, not for powerlifters, but for bodybuilders. They're like, I don't understand it. I'm like, look how good you look. Don't question my science. Yeah.
And I had a different mindset this prep too, because before I was always thinking less calories, less calories, less calories, less calories, that kind of thing. Whereas this time around it was like I can add those fats in rather than the carbs, and then just continue to work out hard and not have the intensity of my workouts drop, and know that I'm going to burn through those calories and maintain more fullness and maintain a better look all the way through my prep.
Yeah, a little bit different. And I think you were much less stressed this time around. You already knew what to expect was a huge, you know, help. And then, you know, different workload, you know. And then you had the gym in the house.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
It does. So instead of, you know, it being a worry of like, crap, when am I going to fit in time to go to the gym? It was like, okay, if I don't have time to go to a gym where I have machines there to use and that kind of thing, like for complete muscle exhaustion, then I can just go home and at least get a good, I would say better than decent, you know, good workout in at home.
You were just cavemaning it. You had, you know, the bare essentials of what you need.
Yeah.
And then if you needed oddball specialty work, go to a big corporate gym.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's nice. You have it convenience of your house. You stay in your anabolic window a little bit better. Eat food.
And if you know, whenever you put your mind to it, there are so many different ways to mimic what a machine does, even at home. Even for, like, say, machine shoulder press, you can put the bar right up against the squat rack and just press and use it like a Smith machine, essentially. So that way you don't have to worry about the, you know, controlling the bar forward and backward. You just have to worry about pushing it up. So, you know, you just get creative and you can mimic.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I spend so much time, you know, at Dallas's gym, or CrossFit San Mateo, because there's almost no machines. So it forces you to get creative. It forces you to say, okay, this is the area that I want to work on. How do I do it with either a barbell or dumbbells? Let's figure it out. And you just start getting smarter, learning your own body, and you end up having better results.
And as a bodybuilder, you know what contracting a certain muscle feels like. So if you are consistently contracting that muscle with something you're kind of making up, I guess,
Mhm.
then you're like, this works, and I like this, and I'm going to add this into a routine. It's that constant, like we talked about, not getting bored with a workout too.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta be fun. Otherwise, you're not gonna do them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you competed a couple months ago. What's the next plan?
The next plan, honestly, was to transition into doing some powerlifting. But, as you call it, the bug, repeatedly,
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Robert, seeing how good he looks for this show and all your help, as well as your call out saying, hey, look, we're coming back next year and we're bringing a crew with us.
Yeah.
I immediately was like, count me in.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that crew. I want to show up with everybody and just kind of have, honestly, it's because I'll have that support system there.
Oh, yeah.
It's-
We talked about this, so we're going to do the 2019 Tahoe show,
Right.
Which that venue is just mind-blowing. It was gorgeous. The entire area there, the seating arrangements, it was almost like being in like the 1920s because they had tables up there, they had the big booths in the middle, they had more down below, the way that it was staged. I mean, it was a fantastic place to be. From a spectator standpoint, the show ran unbelievably smoothly. When we were backstage, I told Robert, I'm like, I don't care what happens. I'm like, we're coming back with a crew. I'm going to sponsor the event. And I might even step on stage myself because I had that much fun just even working with the people there.
And that's the complete opposite experience of what I had at Fresno, which is why I was like, I have no desire to do another show at that point. I wanted to wait until I was 35 and go into the Masters division. And so that would give me 4 more years of just kind of like prepping and doing some fun things like some Olympic lifting competitions, some powerlifting.
Yeah.
And I still have those goals in mind before I start my dieting and prep for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
For Tahoe. But I just know that I'm not going to worry about being in a competitive weight class because I need to put on weight for Tahoe.
Yeah.
So, so those are goals right now. Putting on some weight, putting on specific areas of weight too. And I know like people think you put on weight everywhere, but
You're trying to, when you say, isolating, the weights in certain areas, you're talking about putting on muscle in just certain key areas.
it's exactly it. Yeah. Getting some more size to my back. The definition and separation, I'm very happy with what I have. I just need, everybody wants more size to their back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just more width and more thickness.
More thickness mainly.
Yeah.
Definitely more. I mean, the width will come because weighted pull-ups are part of my putting on thickness in my traps. So just spread the hands out a little bit more and incorporate a little bit more lats, and there you go. You'll build some width there as well. But yeah, a lot of it is focused around the compound movements of just putting on, muscle and putting on mass everywhere. So deadlift, bench press, squat is a part of, 3 times or twice a week, those 3 workouts.
Yep.
So, and then doing accessory work with it.
Yeah. I mean, we train really similar as it is. I mean, we always stick to the basics and then just add things as needed to be.
That's it.
And, I mean, Shones will work very well for both of us.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun off season, and we're going to have fun contest prep, and we're all getting together. We're renting a gigantic house, so we're going to have a full crew of people, and the house is going to smell like some good food when we get there.
Yeah, and spray tan.
Yeah, and spray tan. Yeah, you guys get in your own room.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but I want to do, like you said, Planes of the Future are a powerlifting competition, which is really exciting to me because there is the USAPL, which it's a little more regulated when it comes to drug usage than
Yeah,
say,
the USPL, that's a pretty well-known drug tested organization.
Exactly. So I'm gonna try and get in one of those. It's more, again, just like with bodybuilding, a personal goal. I want to total, over 1,000, hopefully close to that 1,100 mark. But
Because I remember you were getting pretty close, and then you got injured.
right.
Yeah. So
And I'm getting, the bench isn't quite there. I've got a poverty bench, but that's all right. We'll make up for it with deadlift and squat.
There you
go. I'm happy with. I'm reinvigorated, I should say, because even powerlifting was kind of getting a little mundane, and then now I know that, like, okay, this powerlifting goal is a stepping stone for this Tahoe show.
Sure.
I also want to do an Olympic lifting competition because I like the athleticism when it comes to Olympic lifting. My lifts have been improving, and granted, that is how I injured myself the first time, but it just means I ease into it a little more rather than...
It's like for car people. You break something, you build it bigger and stronger.
Yep.
So you broke yourself a little bit. Now we're building it bigger and stronger.
Yeah. I still, you deal with constant pain, but the knowledge between pain and injury and knowing that I'm not injured, that it just kind of hurts a little bit.
Well, and you have to, but I mean, you're old.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, I am. And which is, like, again, why I kind of wanted to wait till Masters because, like I said, it's only 4 years away. So being 31 and just now, getting into all this.
That's really sad that you're 2 years older than I am, but I look so much older.
Yeah. You.
I got the short end of the stick on this deal, man.
You also have been coaching and fathering to a lot of people.
That's true. I take on a lot of people's stress.
Yeah. Being a coach for anybody prepping for a bodybuilding show, I can't imagine doing.
No, because then I call you, and then I let you vent to me, and then I take on your stress, and I get mad about the stuff that you were mad at, and I don't even know those people.
Yeah. And then you get mad at us for walking like a hooker. Yeah.
Good times. But no, it's been fun. We've developed, a great friendship that turned into family, and we've been kicking ass. We've been having lots of fun, and we're gonna keep doing it.
I'm excited for you to get back on stage.
It's funny. People said that when I was at Tahoe, they're like, "Oh, when are you gonna get back on stage?" It's like, funny story. I've never actually been on stage, so I was getting ready for. I'll cut this part out because no one cares. But I was getting ready for a bodybuilding show, and I was hitting my peak of my off season. Yes, right before I had Audrey, and I was huge, and I looked awesome. And then I came off all my shit, stopped training, stopped eating. I went from 274 with abs to 228 and fat in the better part of 4 weeks. Depressing.
You were 23 or 24 when this happened, right?
Audrey was born in 2013. That's what? It's going to be 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I turned 29 tomorrow. So yeah, she was born when I was 23.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, it was huge. I found some of those pictures the other day when I was over 280.
Seriously?
Yeah, and I thought I didn't have them anymore because I couldn't find them. So I found a couple pictures, and I was telling Dallas this yesterday. It's like, I have pictures of me when I'm almost about my morning weight was about 284. So at nighttime I'm like around 290.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not super tall. I'm maybe the better part of, 5'10", 5'11" on a good day.
Yeah.
But that's, let's not get carried away. And so I had an iPhone 4. You know that size. It's not the biggest one, but you at least have that idea of, how small it is.
Right.
So I'm looking at myself, and I took a picture. I had gone to the gym, trained, obviously, and then shot insulin, came home, signed a shake, and ate. So then I had this gigantic, insulin bloat. But I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and keep in mind, I am as wide as the room, because I'm enormous, but my waist has no fat on it at all. I have a completely flat stomach and no love handles at all. I'm just bloated from the insulin. So at that time, I probably could have fit waist-wise into somewhere between a 30 and a 32-inch waist.
God, that's my freaking waist right now.
Right. So, just stupid proportions.
Yeah.
It looked crazy. And, I'm holding this phone, doing, a most muscular, and it looks like a Barbie's play phone. I'm just I am so huge. And then there's another couple pictures of me where I'm starting to lean out, but I'm still in this off-season progress, where I was a little bit over 270, maybe 275, somewhere right around there. Not at my leadest age. I don't know where those photos ever went. I think the biological mother has those.
Yeah.
But, you could see, the V taper, I was oh, man.
That lower lat starts to build its own separate shelf right there.
Well, my back looked like a cloud, because it was just,
Yeah.
lump and lump and lump. It's it looks so good.
I'm waiting for that.
So
That's what I want.
I was telling Dallas, I was I definitely want to get on stage. It's always been something that I've wanted to do. But after I had my leg injury, when I was younger, my quads never really came back to the same shape, so I'm going to spend a lot of time doing like isolated quad stuff. If I can get my quads kind of fluffed back up to where they, close to where, then I'll feel really comfortable because my hamstrings overpower my quads like crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It should be fun though. And either way, like I'm still going to die. I'm still going to look awesome.
Yeah. That's honestly was my tipping to wanting to do it, was when you were like, I think I might get on. And I was like, I talked to her immediately. I was like, Eric's might do this show. It's on Tahoe. I'm going to do it. And I'm sure in her mind, she was like, you just fucking told me you were going to wait until 4 years. What the fuck are you doing? I'm sure.
That's what it initially was when he said he wanted to go to Tahoe. I was like, nope, these are my years. Nope. And then all of a sudden he was like, it's a new show. I was like, go do it. Go.
Yeah.
Go. Take me with you. I want to see this.
Oh, it's beautiful out there.
No. I want to see you on stage.
Oh, you want to see me on stage? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's funny because we got there and a bunch of people knew me that I didn't know. And I've been around for so long that I just forget that I meet people. They're like, Eric, how's it going? I haven't seen you in years. I'm like, oh, fuck, I didn't even see you ever.
You?
Yeah, I did that. And I'm like,
Hey, buddy.
yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. But no, we met some really cool people, and it's a great venue. And we had rented a house 7 miles south of the Nevada border because it's it's right there at Mont Bleu. And so I'm like, dude, I would seriously consider getting a house up here. I'm like, it's tucked away from civilization, but it's close enough to stuff if we need it. I'm like, what wouldn't you like? I'm like, you're 5 minutes driving time to the lake. Like, this is gorgeous.
Wow. I still have yet to be in Tahoe at all, let alone Tahoe Lake, but I've seen it.
That was the first time I'd ever been there.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Way to take your mind off of like stresses of a show to like be able to chill out by Tahoe Lake and just enjoy it.
It was amazing. The weather was great. We didn't have any smoke issues. It was just you couldn't have asked for it any better. It was like, the place is beautiful. The people are super nice. There's tons of good-looking people walking around everywhere. Like, not even just like for the show, but just a group of good-looking people.
Yeah.
And everything was so clean. I was blown away on how clean it was. In my head, I had just pictured them like, oh, like we're going to be in that part of Nevada, like it's going to be like Reno and things are going to be grimy. It was like being in Capitola, like right next to Santa Cruz, just clean. It was, couldn't have asked for anything nicer. But we talked about coming up, we talked about a little bit of injuries, talked about some funny stuff, talked about body hair removal.
Yeah.
And now we know what your next game plan is, so we're just going to keep in touch with you, and we'll have you back on next time you do something cool. Yeah, this is
great. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you, Victoria.
No problem. Thank you for having me too.
You seem so nervous. You're like a kid at the principal's office. You don't want to say anything.
I don't do any kind of bodybuilding or anything. I have nothing that's relevant.
Your support system?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Other than supporting it for the past 2.5 years, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just means eating in my car.
And then you get to gorge on his post-show snacks.
Oh, no. I get to hold them because I know, and I just like sit there drooling over like this pan of like brownies.
I was just about to talk about the brownies. It was such a big pan.
That got erased
Yeah.
immediately. I handed Robert like probably close to half the pan, and then I kept half the pan in my lap.
Yeah.
And then by the time we left, which was maybe 10 minutes after I'd gotten there,
Oh, it was gone.
it was gone.
It was gone.
I didn't even get a brownie. And I'm the one
Nobody
that
else
sit
did.
there and hold
No,
it.
it was just you and
Just me and
Robert.
Robert. Nobody else got brownies. What are you talking about?
I just sit there and hold it.
Because I remember you offered. You were like, did you want a piece? I was like, no, I'm okay right now. And I was like, I'll get one later. That wasn't an option.
No.
It wasn't an option. And then
In my heart, I was like, thank God he said no.
Because then we all went and got pizza. And it's funny because I've got my two phones. I've got my work phone, I got my regular one. So I scrolled back through my my normal 925 one, and I found pictures from that day when we went and got pizza. And like us sitting in the audience and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, how fun. And I have one picture. We're sitting there at the restaurant. You look so happy, and you look like you cannot wait to leave. Your face is just like, good.
If we're hanging out, I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
But-
it was that fun little like catch at the right moment, so where you just look like this bullshit. And he's so tan. He's like, yay.
That's my
It
favorite.
almost looked like a reverse raccoon though, because
Yeah.
everything's so tan except for right around your eyes.
And teeth.
Yeah, and teeth, exactly.
But it's my favorite when everybody gets stand up because everybody immediately, like later that night, immediately goes to like all the junk food places. I think we went to Rick's Diner this last time that he did a show, and you could just pick out who did the competition. They just said like
The orange people.
the orange people that are like still with their show makeup on, and just eating their cake, looking around like.
Dude, that show makeup. That's something else, man.
Yeah, you want to talk about looking like death? Like I said backstage, those poor girls look like death.
There was an interesting thing. So when we were at the Tahoe show, we were upstairs, and they had 2 green rooms because this is gigantic theaters. I mean, they took care of the athletes. It was really cool, and there are these gigantic bathrooms because they have like big name performers come up there. You know, like real A-list celebrities. So it's pretty intense. And I was listening to this lady talking to the makeup artist who was doing the athlete's makeup. She was like, I needed you to leave the cheeks lighter so she actually looks healthy. And I was like, that is the greatest moment of honesty I've ever heard at a bodybuilding show.
Yep.
It was like, you are well aware that your client is unhealthy, so you gotta fake it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the lady came around the corner. I was like, good job on the makeup. Good for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. We're gonna go eat and then go train.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Down for that.
All right.
First entry?
Yeah. I've been in traffic for almost 4 hours to get here.